Good evening and welcome back to the Mancunian Way. My name is Martin. I'm your host. Apologies for being late. I've not been too good today, but it is what it is. Come back from Cyprus. A little bit of Cyprus tummy, but it is what it is.
Hope you let's do the smallest violin for Martin, guys. He just got back from Cyprus and he has a stomach ache.
Yeah, listen, it's an hard life, you know me. It's an hard life I lead. Right, anyway, good evening to everyone. I don't know where everyone is. It's us three up to now, but we'll give you a damn good show. We're going to say some hellos. So everyone have a great show. Smash the like and look forward to lunch next week. Yes, Lunch in the City will be back next week, and it looks like there's going to be quite a bit to talk about. Good evening, Mingy Wong. Hello. Yeah, Leeds, we're going to talk about that. We'll go through the transfer stuff very, very quick. Rumours, then we'll get moving. Arsenal definitely not a big club, but couldn't we rank from small to huge? We'll see as we're going. Oh, Mr. Pisshead, I've been out on the lash and everything else is here. Condolences to Kevin Keegan who passed away this week. Yes, we will have 5 minutes, 10 minutes on the late, great Kevin Keegan. Sorry, Ed. I know you weren't a City fan back then, but we'll try and involve you somehow, mate. Chelsea are interested in signing John Stones on a free. Yes, and it would be a mighty damn good free. Yes, please smash those likes. Aiming for 120 tonight would be amazing. Also, don't forget the super chats are available where we have put high targets on for the next month for half of July, half of August for our Alzheimer's Society drive for this month ahead of our big huge 12 or 24-hour charity stream coming up in August or September. Ayub, yep. No, right. Yep, we'll talk about that. Punit. What shirt does Elliot Anderson? We're going to talk about that because Elliot Anderson is in the building. And Manchester City asks shit questions. Anyone who's listened to the interview, get better questions, City, than some of the questions you were answering him. Isn't Manchester a beautiful place? Yeah, on his first interview, he's going to say, no, it's shit. I hope that Elliot Anderson...
Unfortunately, I think the social media team are brilliant at some things, but I don't think any of them are from Manchester, and I don't think any of them are City fans.
I just don't like it when one of the questions is, isn't Manchester beautiful? No, it's shit.
Come on, Mark. You know they got to build up the city. They got to say, you got to have the players say,
I know, but come on.
Oh, you know this.
I know. I think Rodri stays one more year. We've still got Nico Gonzalez. Right, anyway, there's loads of people on. Thierry Henry, Luke Chapman, you're all here, which is absolutely amazing, guys. House captain, I am going to make Pardew. I am going to make 3 mods. Let me just mute Rich while he's rearranging his desk because we can hear it. Right, all I'm going to say is, guys, quick one. I just want to remind everyone in the chat, the 3-strike rule is in place that we've had in for the last month and a half. If it is a joke, let it know it's a joke. If it's being a bit nasty or you're being a bit of a dick, you're going to get a warning. If you continue to be a dick, you're getting timed out. And if you could be the ultimate dick, you're getting banned. Simple. We are going to have quality control on this channel, which we said we were going to have for a long time. And the panel, we will give you a damn good show and we will give you the quality that this community deserves. Guys, you're already doing it. Kings, I know what you're doing there. You're not a little boy. Stop it.
Yeah.
Bit of a thing. Chill out. Right. Let's get into it. Where do you want to start? Should we start with Anderson before we roll into it? He's here. He's arrived.
No, I think he's going to be a great signing for us. You know, I was saying the other night that Anderson probably was one of the best midfielders at the World Cup. You saw his range on the pitch, what distance he covered. You saw his technical ability at times too on the ball with the passes he did into Jude Bellingham at times. So, you know, we say this line a lot, line-breaking passes. And we saw, like, recovery. And I think that's what we've been lacking a lot of our midfield the past couple of years. Also physicality. You know, he gets stuck in. And I can't wait to see him in this system wearing the blue shirt.
Trev, Rich, he's arrived. It's not a mirage. It was the rumours.
Yeah, no. It's great news. But it's news we knew was happening, but it's nice to actually see it rather than it just being.
Took me by surprise. I was like, "What? Wait, what?
Yeah,
we signed who? Where's he from?"
But I think he was the best midfielder in the Prem last season. So, he's going to be fantastic. I think we still need someone to create the tempo for the team, because I don't think he's going to set the rhythm. I don't think he's going to set the tempo. I don't know that that's the kind of player he is, but he's going to be that fantastic number 8. I think he's going to go everywhere. He's going to get the ball back. He's going to produce aggressive forward passes. I think, exciting. And I think he's going to bring a physicality. Even he doesn't have some of the characteristics, but he's certainly going to bring a physicality beyond Bernardo, because he's got a pace and a kind of strength that even a younger Bernardo didn't have. Obviously, he hasn't quite got the first touch and the ability to, do some of that play that we lose with Bernardo. But now, exciting.
Yeah, I'm over the moon.
There aren't many players that you see where you just think he's going to fit right in, and sometimes we have had players where the first game that we've seen them have gone, they look like they've been here for years. Anderson already looks like that. Watching his England performances, he looked like a City player. And that's always a good thing. I might be wrong, but he looks like a City player already.
Yeah.
And now he is officially, signed.
He's on the website, but his picture's not there, which is a bit of a shame, because they haven't unveiled people at the moment. So, but he is on the website. He's just got a silhouette there at the moment. So we bought a silhouette. Not bought a player, we bought a silhouette, everyone. I'm sure the picture will be up there soon enough. The other news of today. James Trafford. He's going to Leeds United, it looks like. Newcastle have pulled out. They pulled out a while back. Because City are doing a buyback. Leeds look like they're going to agree to the buyback. Looking around about 40-odd million-ish. But yes, James Trafford looks like he's going to be playing his football over on the Yorkshire Dales. And we do wish him all the best, probably. It's a shame. But he needs to play football. And I think it's the best move all around for him. But we do have it looks like City are going to get a buyback. I don't know how much.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who we buy to replace him as well, because it looks like Charles is more seen as.
We just sent Pierce Charles on bloody loan.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we think he's got a couple more years' experience to build. So we're gonna have to go and sign a goalkeeper.
I'm trying to wonder now what we bought Pierce Charles for then, because we bought him just to send him out back again. I think he was coming in to be the trophy.
And I think we've bought Pierce Charles to maybe in a year's time be Donnarumma's backup, but we've probably bought him as Trafford's long-term backup when we re-signed Trafford in 2 years.
He better Nelly's back.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't
maybe
bring Watmuff back as well from Rochdale.
No, yeah, Watmuff's come back and he's gone out to Stockport.
What's he called? I thought it was Watmuff.
Ollie Watmuff. Well, Watmuff, I don't know.
No, I honestly think we're just going to follow all of them, and whoever shows the best we'll bring back, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think, and Savio is in training, and he's having a grand old time in training. No fee agreed anywhere. I think that's it.
Can I just say something more about Trafford? If you're Leeds, aren't you somewhat concerned that, clearly you're a stepping stone, and he will put his England career above your club? Does that not alarm you at all? because that's his pattern. Remember, he's chosen to give up a career at Man City, right? A massive club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, for the sake of his England career. How do you think he's going to be with you guys? You know, is he going to start copping an injury when it's selection time or going away for tournaments and things like that? Do you know what I mean? If his loyalty is to his own England career as opposed to the club, and he's at one of the best clubs in the world, and he's thinking, actually, I'm better off going somewhere else for the benefit of my England career than staying in one of the biggest clubs in the world.
I think it's his whole career, right? He's not playing. I think any 22-year-old who wants to stay at a club as a reserve keeper when they're as good as Trafford, I wouldn't want them near City. If he's that unambitious, he doesn't want to be a first-team player in the Premier League, I'd have a problem with him, to be honest. I think it's the right move. I mean, I think the only question for City was it going to be Donnarumma or Trafford we kept? But, you know, I think consensus is Donnarumma for most people. So Trafford had to go. Trafford had to go.
That's a good way to look at it as well.
He's got to play.
You know. Yeah. I still contend. I take your point, and I probably agree with it, right? Because it's a good point, well made. So I get that side of it. But I think, probably because I'm a City fan, I think being number 2 at City is probably better than being the number 1 at virtually any other club in the world.
Yeah, it's better than being the owner of Leeds.
Yeah. You know,
but
so
Leeds,
that. It's a complicated thing.
But Leeds know they're a stepping stone club. Like any team in the bottom half know their reality. They know players are going to come there. I think that's one of the selling points of a club like Leeds. You come here, you get first team experience in the Premier League, you perform well, top teams will come for you, we get a high selling fee for you. It's a win-win for clubs like Leeds who get top young talent. I think that's one of the draws that they have.
Yeah, the only problem for Leeds is he's not Welsh, because they're trying to sign the entire Welsh squad at the minute.
I will say this: we're not doing Rodri tonight. I'm bored of it right now. Until there's news, I don't really want to go back into it. There's no news. I don't want to do he said, she said, Debbie down the road said. There's no news. There's no difference. So I'm just bored of the damn stuff now. I'm just bored of it all. Because I don't even know where to go with it. From the Mirror's bullshit story this morning to everything else that came out, it's like I'm just done with it. Just done with it. Because I know tomorrow there'll be another clickbait bullshit stuff that'll come out about it all.
The one thing that I'm probably going to concentrate on this season is that I want everyone to understand who Pearson Media are. They own the Mirror, the one of the big national. They own the Star, and several of our most important local newspapers, including the Manchester Evening News. And I put a story out a while ago, which I was challenged by a Manchester Evening News journalist to say that it wasn't true. And then I took a couple of weeks, did some decent research, and found 3 irrefutable pieces of evidence from journalism's in-house magazines that that specifically focused on Pearson Media explicitly incentivizing one tier of their journalists by clicks. So they get paid more for engagement, but they also get sanctioned if they fail to hit their engagement targets. And then I found out that you can see which one of them are employed by Pearson Media, who work probably in Milton Keynes in a cubicle, nowhere near Manchester, don't have any contacts with the clubs. And their job is to write the clickbait, so that other people, the journalists who do have relationships with City, are probably much more free to write the sane stuff, the sensible stuff. But there is a tier of journalists, the Liverpool Echo they own as well. There's a tier of journalists there. Now, we all know that journalism is engagement driven, but the reason why this was news in the in-house media, one of the publications is over 100 years old. It's the newspaper or the magazine that journalists read to find out about journalism news in their own industry. And the problem that they have with it is that this is the first time where journalists have been told that your bottom line, what you earn, is dependent on these targets. So they've never really been given targets before, but now the target is like, you need to get, and they published the table of it, 450,000 engagements is your target for this month. And if you fail to hit it, you're getting your career reviewed, you're getting your job reviewed. And it's actually, it sounds like a subtle difference, and everyone will be saying, yeah, we know journalists want engagement. It's different. It's different when you put a number on the amount, because as the month gets towards the end and you know that you're up against it, you're going to put out any old shit. And that's a pattern that was happening towards the end of the season last season. There were like 4 journalists doing Man City stuff that weren't MANUTD News journalists, but were Pearson Media direct employees. So I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how that works out. But it's big news within journalism. It's a story.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. That's okay.
No, to me, I actually do think, I think this year we do need to keep an eye on the media and everything else. I think it is, people need to know who owns what media and everything else. And you know, the thing is, I think it depends, because we tried to do this somewhat on Man City Man TV on our old channel. They're more interested in the YouTube side or the social media side than the written paper. You know, the old style of the broadsheet and things like the tabloids. People lost a little bit of interest.
Well, what they
in that.
sell, the product, how they make their money is the commodity. Because I bought hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars of this stuff over the years for my clients. Is what you buy is eyes. What you buy is how many people see that, because that's where your ad's going to be. Okay, or that's that, you know, so that the industry is still driven by advertising. And so,
yeah,
you know, that's still the model. It's advertising funded, you know, it's sponsorship funded. But the other big revenue stream is obviously engagement. But engagement is what they sell to their advertisers. It's going, you know, we got this many million views this week. And that's how you buy advertising. You don't buy advertising because you like the writer or the publication. You don't give a shit about that. You're just buying the numbers. How many millions? Because that's the pro rata rate. If we average
nowadays you're not. I mean, nowadays you're buying the individual. Nowadays advertising is being bought by, you know, you going through your media agency or, you know, whether you are buying an individual. You're buying, I want someone who's likely to buy this product, who's this age, this wealth, this
no, in the demographics. Yeah, I didn't want to go into that forensic detail. I
mean, it's just ridiculous now how I'm individually sold at a million for the second.
You're right, and the influencer thing is another significant market, but you're still buying numbers. You're buying numbers and demographic. You know, advertisers still pay the rent for most publications, most of the traditional publications.
Yeah, no, you know, they're paying,
and all they're buying is numbers.
Advertisers are paying, you know, a large chunk of every supermarket's profits coming from how they sell advertising. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I think the problem is, and I think it's going. Some of the media is even going beyond clicks now, and we're starting to see, particularly in the US, where actually it's almost going back to how the media was used, you know, in more authoritarian times, in that billionaires are buying the media purely to run their agenda. So and much of it is run not, you know, there's large chunks of the media not even making money in some countries, because they are purely a tool, because, you know, and even people like Jeff Bezos doing it now. You know, my agenda is I want, you know, Amazon to control the world. I don't want anyone speaking out against labor rights in Amazon. I don't want anyone. So, you know, back in the day, they'd be lobbying people. Now, like, sod it, I can afford to buy Elon Musk bought Twitter.
And I just do this membership.
Surely,
Sorry, it's been here for a while. 26 months about your dick off. Cheers, Carl, mate. You're a legend. Thank you so much for your continued support.
It's interesting, Rich, what you said. I mean, the people listen to their local radio stations in America because it's a vast country. They get most of their news from their local radio station. They're all owned by one company who are a right-wing Christian fundamentalist, agenda-driven company. But they're all owned. So you think you're listening to your local radio. You think you're listening to Piccadilly Radio, and the things that you're hearing are what Piccadilly Radio, I don't know if they exist anymore, but you think you're listening to what they think and what they want to put out. But in America, that's not that. You're not listening to KYP 27.3, whatever the station name is. You're listening to an agenda. Yeah, but people have put compilations together where they're just reading the same script, and it's usually about something political, and then they just overlap it, and it's exactly the same wording, no matter where you are in America, on all your local networks.
Yeah, and everyone's now just reporting everyone else's news, and that's the thing with the Rodri thing. I mean, I happen to believe, just logically, I believe that probably it's primarily true, but the fact is, one place can carry a story, and that can be just a tip off from the buying club wanting to get the story out there, and then 1,000 people copy it. Now, it may be true, it may not be true, but that's in a way not the point. The point is that the media now is just so desperate to not miss out on that story, that one story that's sometimes completely made up can actually end up carrying through every aggregator, every publication, and people who don't have any source of the story just say, well, it's reported that, or X has said that.
They add to it, the ones who are the most desperate for the clips. You watch the language ramp up from the original aggregator and to the lower tier, the lower tier channels, who will clip it up but then change words to make it sound even more hysterical in the race to the bottom. So by the end, you end up with these screaming mad. But these people have got thousands of people who follow them, who aren't curious enough to look at the source, aren't curious enough to click through, which is fine. But hopefully, if we can do a bit of that, I think it's a service to our fans. And I think if we can help them understand the media that they're getting, it will make the debate about the club and about what happens with us a bit better. I care about this stuff, I don't know.
I think people would enjoy it. As long as
we'll find out because they'll vote with their clicks, But hopefully, if we do focus a bit on that, I mean, the stuff that I said about passive attribution went down very well because people don't understand what passive attribution is. And I got a really good response on my own Twitter account whenever I posted an example of passive attribution. Passive attribution is when you read a story and it says it is believed. They got no source, or understand that. You've all read these tweets. You've probably read them already today.
This is the one. They're flirting. They are interested in.
Yeah. The worst one.
But that's another layer of lying. But the passive attribution is.
Yeah. Even worse than that, and this is the one we've really suffered from. It's if something imaginary happens, then could happen. So the amount of stories saying, if City are found guilty of 130 charges, they'll
all be shot.
They could be deported by the government and sent to America. It's the reality is, you can if anything in the world, you can then could anything in the world, and you'll never be wrong because you can't be wrong. So it allows people to paint absolutely extreme, ridiculous clickbait circumstances that A, would never happen, and B, the consequences would never happen, but they can't be wrong. And it creates...
Magic Hat did one yesterday about Khaldoon. Khaldoon selling City.
Yeah. And he doesn't even know that Khaldoon doesn't own City. So,
Right. No, there's no news on Rodri, guys. So, but anyway, just to say, we've added quite a number of mods now. So, House Captain Cather, Blue Heart, and DC are now new moderators on the channel.
Love. How do you do that thing where you do love? Is that it? Love you guys. Thank you so
Gareth
much.
Bale. Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is what I
Bale
normally
scoring
do.
for Wales.
I normally just do that. That's my version of it. Anyway, right. We're going to give you tonight. This could get a little bit feisty, especially with fucking Rich on the panel when we talk about this.
Yeah.
Ed's not ignoring us. Ed's doing weights at the moment. He's doing a set in the gym.
So I'm doing my legs.
I'm so
It's me
glad
leg
we're
day.
not getting the up the short nutsack shots that we got a couple of weeks back. That was so nice of Ed to put his camera on the floor while he was doing crunches. Thank you for that, Ed.
I'm on Pelletron now. Can you tell?
I've seen people do that while they're on shows, you know. Believe it or not. Right.
Oh, I'm tired.
This
I'm tired.
Hey,
came
Martin, I'm
from-
sorry you're jealous, man. I know you're jealous, man.
I knew it's like feeding babies when he just comes out of the blue like that.
You just wanted to bail on that rep.
So
Get back to
DC,
that rep.
so
Pussy.
yeah, DC, Blue Heart deserves it because Blue Heart has been a supporter, especially of mine, because he's a sad person with no values and no standards, for 8 years from my Man City Man TV days. Blue Heart, it was the first person to welcome me fully into this community with his ghost jokes and look behind me during my watch-alongs. And I used to put a coat on the back of my chair, you see, so that's where the I'll get my coat stuff came from Blue Heart. But he's a top guy. Met him a couple of times at the ground. Top fella. DC's always been amazing. House Captain's just got it because he's a double privet. Sorry, whatever. I don't know.
And he gets his balls on the table.
And we've also made Kathy a mod as well, because it's for people who we know who are here a lot and all the time. So it's not against anybody else. We will do in the next couple of months. We'll look at more mods as well. As we grow as a channel, but especially as we're getting 500 and 600 people coming into chat now, we do need some more mods. Right, Jack, big up, mate. We're going to get you on a Blues Brothers show very soon, starting next week. So that'll be lovely. We'll get you on. Right, this debate came from a very chat in WhatsApp. Yes, I do blame Trev for this. And then Rich joined in for 20 minutes, and they went at it like cat and dog. So
did we? I don't recall us having a go at each other. Did we?
I just felt like you went on it for 20 minutes. It just felt that way.
I think I wrote one thing.
It felt that way. But what makes
it's the long words we use, Trevitt. You know, he was going to his thesaurus and
baffles them.
And not only that, you know what? We're a bit bored of the transfer shit. So we thought, you know what, we'll give you an actual we'll give you an actual proper debate show where we can actually go at it rather than just going, do you think LIVERPOOL's going to sign a contract, or do you think he's going to Real Madrid? And then tomorrow we talk about the same shit. Yes, you were Blue Heart, and that's why you're a legend, sir, and I will always back you. You've always got my love and support. Right, what makes a big club? Big club energy, we called it. Part of this is because, yes, I'm the happy clapper. I'm the Mr. Manchester City of the brigade, me and Steve and everything else. But I said City, this started because I said Liverpool and United were bigger than Manchester City as a football club. And I got shot down. So here's my question. We're gonna start with Trev, because he started this debate. What is and makes a big football club?
All right. I'm going to read the thing. I finally found the thing that
we found it
on our chat. Yeah, I found some of it. Anyway.
I get lost in a lot of it.
So what I said was, it was in something that Paul Merson was paid to say or made to say by his producer so he can keep being on TalkSport shitting clicks. Because he doesn't mean anything he says. Very few of the people on TalkSport Very few of the people on TalkSport believe what they say. They are told what to say by their producers, and they do it because they didn't make enough money or didn't save enough money as a player or shoved it up their hooters or put it on the GGs or whatever. What I said was I don't accept that the number of fans equals the status of the club anymore. It's not about being big. What you win, what you compete in the transfer market for and with, who you compete with, who you can confidently approach, and what you win, and the sponsors you attract, and how other clubs view you, and how willing they are to take your academy graduates or buy them. That's your stature. Respect is how it's measured. The big thing is for fans and pundits, and it's emotional. But in the serious world of the football business, our stature has exceeded every club in the UK. Talent wants to hear 4 clubs in the world that are interested in signing them because they were kids when United's era ended. They have only known City as dominant. It's us, PSG, Real Madrid and Barca. If we continue to be successful, not even as successful
I'd add Bayern. I'd add Bayern.
And Bayern, okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take that. If we continue to be successful, not even as successful as Pep's era, this position will grow and consolidate. So, fuck the other fans thinking of themselves as bigger. Give me the respect of our decreasing number of peers every day until there are none left, until we don't have any peers. And I'm not being arrogant or cocky, but I do believe that aiming for that and failing is better than not even trying for it. And I think that's where our owners are going. When you look at Khaldoon's speeches, these are what is there in between the lines of what he's saying. Their ambition for our club is bigger than ours, and we are mad City fans who think that the sky's the limit. Those guys have a bigger ambition. They want to build our empire on the ashes of Real Madrid and Barca and those other clubs. I think that's their mission. I think they've backed that mission. I think they're serious people who are planning for that. And I think in 10 years' time, we will be there. We're already mentioned in that bracket of the 5 clubs. Rich added one, and he's quite right too. We're already mentioned. We're already on that elite tier of clubs. United so aren't anymore, except in the minds of their fans and their ex-player pundits who have to put that era in aspic because that's the only thing that keeps them relevant. Because what they've got to say about the game is bobbins, as we learn when we see good people like Nedum Manoa and Joe Hart talk about the game, because they understand the modern game and they love it. And Nedum Manoa said about the red pundits, or that generation of pundits, mainly from red clubs. Not only do they not understand the modern game, they don't like it. And so, but in the perception of serious people in football, City are it in the UK. We are. Forget Arsenal winning the league last year. It was an outlier. They won't win it again for another 20 years. We are, in the eyes of the people who matter, big, massive, fucking massive. And I don't give a shit what the red pundits say or our rivals say, because they can't admit it to themselves. City are fucking massive.
Yeah, big up, Wigan lad. Appreciate that.
One thing I always think,
I'm sure Trevor will appreciate that.
When you look at United and City, it's a bit like looking at Ford and Tesla or something. Ford still sell more, dollars or numbers of cars than Tesla, but Tesla's worth many, many times more than Ford, because Ford is flogging, they're still flogging the Model T Ford back to the 1920s in many ways.
Because you didn't look good in a Mustang.
Yeah, but even a Mustang, you're selling technology that's decades behind.
Piss off. No one wants technology now, Rich. They want that boom boom.
I know some people want a bit of nostalgia, and that's why I've gone
boom boom now.
United. Well, you're probably supporting the wrong Manchester club if you want nostalgia over achievement and everything else. Because
guys, what are we doing here, guys?
We're the Tesla. But I must admit, my comment on this whole debate is what makes a big club is who cares
Yeah, I know that. No, you didn't. I will
yeah.
read you the exact comment you said. I will read it. I don't mind.
He probably had who the F cares because
yeah, that's what you said. He said, "Who gives a shit?"
I mean, because in many ways, all we are bigger than you is a coping mechanism.
Yes.
All it is a coping mechanism when, ultimately, fans are judging on who wins the game, who finishes higher in the league. And if you see someone finishing higher in the league,
measuring comp, Rich.
Sorry?
You saying in other words, and I'm going to be crass here, I apologize, but I'm going to put it into the Mank way of putting it. Are you saying it's a dick measuring contest?
Well, it's one where the person who's saying theirs is bigger has just lost out to the other one. So it's like, yes, she's chosen me over you over me, but yeah, I'm bigger. It's about as soon as someone goes, we're bigger than you, you've won the argument, because it is by even saying that's an admission that you're better than them, because who wants to say we're bigger but we're worse? And how is it good to be worse than someone else and bigger? I mean, that makes it worse, actually. If you're smaller, you're fine being worse than someone else.
Are we still talking about clubs there? Because I'm really lost.
I'm talking about football. It's right that Oxford United are less successful than City. No, because they're a smaller club. But if City were worse than Oxford United, a flat one. Yeah, but if Oxford United are better than City, and City think it's good to say, well, we're bigger, that just is such an admission of failure. So whenever anyone goes about how big a club is, it almost makes me laugh, because it almost makes me think, we're better and you're just coping, and I've already won the argument. And is it? I mean, what is the benefit of being bigger? I mean, in many ways, if you're bigger, you just have, if it's based on fans, it just means you've got more plastic.
Hang on, right? No, hang on. Can I just come up with this Good Johnson fella? Because I don't know how long the guy's been a Chelsea fan. Because this is my thing with this big club model. Good Johnson, you need to tell me how long you've been a Chelsea fan for. Your execs have a hard on.
Have you ever been
trophies? That's not anything that Man City have in common with the old main road Man City. It's a manufactured Arab Catalan Frankenstein club. What were you?
A manufactured oligarch club. I mean, it's
Russian oligarch club.
And United were...
No, but Rich, this City had more trophies.
Yeah,
I mean, they had bigger attendances. We didn't have a car park out back.
Yeah,
and everything else. You had no money when Ken Bates was in charge here. So I think you need to do a little bit of research on your own football club, because you were the original Frankenstein football club.
Well, no, I still think the original the real original Frankenstein club was probably Sunderland in 1900, or Arsenal in 93. But of the modern times, the real Frankenstein club's Liverpool, who spent the equivalent of over 100 million on 2 players as a championship club. They had such an injection of money. They spent what was, I think 90% of the world record fee and 60% of the world record fee at the time on players when they were a championship club. So nothing in even Blackburn, City at their peak, nothing compares to that level of spending, at the time Liverpool did. But because it was 80,000, it doesn't count. But that's
guys. I think we're over.
Liverpool were owned.
I think we're overcomplicating this. I think it's trophies. I think especially now FFP. I think it's revenue, right? And I think and for this channel, right, we always talk about history, right? So I think we have to look at other clubs' history and just be honest that clubs have a longer, bigger history than us. I think that's
right. Ed, I'm going to call you up on this. History is a function of time. History is a function of time.
You have 1 UCL. Arsenal have 0 UCLs.
Yeah. Sheffield FC, Notts County, Notts Forest, Wrexham, They are the clubs with the biggest history in the game, because history is a function of time.
I'm just going to
History has got nothing to do with success.
So
I mean,
I'm just going
the
to share
clubs that
something
people-
for our Chelsea fan, just to prove a little.
Yeah.
I know tendencies are not a big thing to some, but this city were a Frankenstein club. In 91-92, we had an average attendance of 27,641. Chelsea had an average attendance of 18,779. Sheffield United had a bigger following.
The way I like to look at these stats, Martin, is you kind of have to go outside of these websites to do it, put it into an AI. But because it's numbers, the AI doesn't fuck it up. Ask and sort that list by a percentage, because that's the true measure. What percentage? So what was your capacity of your ground? Because like Southampton, they could look like 17,000, right? And that might look bad because we're getting 35, right? But actually, Southampton's ground fits 20,000. So the only real accurate measure is the percentage of attendance compared to your capacity. We are, look, 5 or 6 Premier League clubs. No, I think it's 10 are consistently 99 point something or 98 point something as a percentage of what they could possibly sell full, right? I know that, Martin, sometimes you push back on me about those figures, but those are the figures that they have to report to the police. Those are the figures that they have to report to their insurance.
No, I agree with those figures.
Who don't fuck about.
Yes, those figures have thing, but they're not actually accurate when you're in the stadium.
No, but we're talking loose change that they might be wrong by. But you know, by the declared figures, the audited figures of your attendances, then if you look at the percentages, one of the best supported clubs in the world, or in English football, right? And there's 2 who were on 99.9% for years: West Ham, Newcastle. Newcastle have a waiting list for their season tickets of 70,000. So if it's on crowd size. See, this is why the big thing can't be just based on crowd size.
No, it can't be. Because
last year our capacity was reduced because of the rebuild.
Well, not only that, City have the highest attendance, but that was from 1900.
Yeah, ever in history, the record attendance.
No, it was around the war, wasn't it? I think it was just after the war.
That was when you were a kid, Rich.
Yeah, it was late 40s, I think.
But but global reach matters too, right? Like global reach matters.
Now it does. Now we're talking.
And then if you're talking global reach, then it becomes for sponsors, for anyone valuing buying a club, it then goes to eyeballs. And there are companies out there whose sole job is to measure the value in dollar terms of sponsorship, and they will have every show monitored, every match monitored, and they will look at how many seconds your advert appears on the side hoardings or in the middle of the match, how many people are watching at that exact second, and they can calculate the value of the sponsorship. And that's where I think old Red Cartel and the old media really don't understand the economics of football. They think that having the most fans or the most shirts in England determines how big a club is, how much a sponsorship should be worth. But a sponsorship is worth how many people are watching. And ultimately, if in a season more people watch Manchester City than watch Liverpool, Arsenal, United, which has happened most of the last eight years, because because we're successful, doesn't mean they're all City fans. 75% of people watching that match could be neutrals who are watching that game because it's the best game in the Premier League that weekend, or City are the best team.
But we're often in the best game.
If more people are watching it, it's brand awareness. And actually, the brand awareness tends to be more important from non-fans of the club, because fans of the club are normally pretty well aware of the brand that's sponsoring their club. It's not like City fans need to be told about Etihad. The brand awareness is actually more valuable from neutrals than it is from other fans, and it is from fans of your own club. So that is a function. So someone globally is looking at that And if ultimately, you know, City have 1 billion more eyeballs over the course of a season than Liverpool or Arsenal, it doesn't matter whether they're City fans. That is worth more to a sponsor, and so they'll pay more than they'll pay Arsenal, Liverpool. But Arsenal, you know, if you take the, you know, the pundits on TV or your average punter in their, you know, in their 40s or 50s, they still think that if they see more Man United shirts walking down, you know, the paths of Basildon, that means that United are a bigger club, should get more sponsorship, and City with nothing. And it's just because I don't understand how football in the world works.
Sponsors care about glory and eyeballs.
And in terms of perception, honestly, how big a club is depends on where you live in the world and what age you are. Because I can tell you now, if you went and asked a group of 18-year-olds in large chunks of the world, who's the biggest club in England, they'd say City. If you went and asked a bunch of 40-year-olds, they would nearly all say United. If you went and asked a bunch of 60-year-olds, they'd nearly all say Liverpool. And the fact is, we get stuck in, you know, many ways, who's the biggest club when we're a kid, when we're learning football, when we're growing up and everything else. And, you know, that's what a big club is. And the truth is, there will be generations, you know, now of young people who City and, you know, to be fair, Chelsea are bigger than, you know, United and, you know, Villa. But there are people who, in many ways, you know, I think they're clubs that get absolutely neglected. If you look at history, Villa and Everton are true giants of the English game, true giants. You know, I would say till the 70s, Everton were by far the bigger club than Liverpool, until, you know, the Moors money came in, until the Pools money came in, and they started, you know, that era of success from Shankly. I'd say Villa, massive club. Villa are a bigger club than United. And you know, I said this to a United fan the other day.
It's my point, Rich. And Nottingham Forest, a huge football club in many people's eyes, they won 2 European Cups back to back. Yeah.
But Nottingham Forest did it within quite a
No, but you wouldn't say they're huge now.
The thing that fascinates me,
they did in quite a narrow period though, whereas Everton and Villa had sustained success over a century. And here's a fact for everyone, and this is something that when United fans talk about City and how much bigger they are than City, do you know what year United overtook City for top flight points? If you gave 3 points for a win from the start of football, how many wins and points you got in the top flight? So in Division 1 and then the Premier. Do you know what year United overtook City? 1983. So for United formed 1878, City 1880. It wasn't for over a century that United had won more games or won more points in the top flight. So you look at that and you say, well, you know, United had a few more comps than us at that time, but we had much bigger crowds, and we were actually more up the top of the division and winning more games in the top flight than them for a century. So United, if you're going to go on sustained success, United became better than City in 1983.
At the right time. Yeah, it was just the right time.
And then admittedly, that for the next 20 years or 25 years, they absolutely killed us and they went a long way ahead. Although that's now been coming back for 15 years.
Based on what you've said, Rich, and I'm going to bring a couple of things together here. I was told not to read the comments, but I am. Someone asked, why are you doing the show about the big? Look at the title of the show, mate, because the title of the show is about that, right? So we kind of gave people a clue what this show was going to be about at the start. You know, it's in the title, Big Club Energy. So why does it matter is the important thing. On Rich's point, my main question is, how do you lose? Because Everton lost it. Villa lost it. These clubs that we know, you know, we could go to some of the, you know, really Preston North End were giants. They won things for decades. Now nobody considers them big. Okay, so that's back in history. But how do you lose?
Rangers
you lose it because
you be demoted from the. I don't think they can because the gatekeepers are the
The
pundits.
Giants, yeah, the Giants. And how you lose? I mean, how you lose it is basically that, you know,
So this is a guy that
first you had us. First, you know, why the top six in the Premier League? Chelsea had a multi-billion-dollar injection from a Russian oligarch.
We're setting that
You
up,
know,
Ethan. I'll come to that later.
City had a multi-billion injection from, you know, the UAE. Liverpool earlier had a equivalent in those days of very similar injection from, the Moores family, from gambling into Liverpool.
Yeah.
Arsenal bought their way with huge injection in the 30s, bought their way into the top flight and bought their way to success. You know, United, some big cash injections, but also they actually effectively formed a cartel with the league and were part owned by Sky. And as the injection came in from Premier League money, taken off all the other leagues, taken off other clubs, United made sure they were in the best place to get huge injections from the market, from the game. And effectively, a lot of that was taken from the lower leagues and other things as well. So, you know, so all of them have come in. Newcastle have had a couple of different owners. So John Hall come in, huge injection of money. So, you know, Tottenham, you know, haven't really had. They've had a huge injection of money into assets.
Tottenham are on the edge of not being big.
They're still owned by a multi-billion. I think they're still a big club. Like, I mean, I
think they might be one of the
Sheffield
first.
Wednesday is still big clubs. I mean, you know,
small
but in the popular perception,
Main Road was
Tottenham
bigger than Stamford Bridge.
Seem to be teetering on the edge of not being a big club anymore. They seem to be the only one ever that in recent history that may actually be consigned to the tier that includes Newcastle, Villa, and formerly big club tier.
I wonder
what the mechanics of that are.
I don't think they've ever not been in that. You know, I think given, you know, if you look at crowd success and everything else, I think Tottenham are absolutely in Newcastle. You know, that's almost the definition of Newcastle and Tottenham, even playing the same colours, is clubs that get huge support, have had some huge off the pitch stuff, but have never translated on the pitch. I mean, you know, I saw the other day that when Tottenham last won the league was closer to when Queen Victoria was on the throne than it is to today. You know, and I think the same for Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle was probably almost closer to when Prince Albert was still alive, you know, and living with Queen Victoria than today. But, you know, there is no question Tottenham have the most impressive stadium in the country. Yeah. They have a massive waiting list. They sell out that stadium's, 65, whatever it is, 63,000. You know, so they have an incredibly impressive infrastructure, but they've had an owner who hasn't invested on the pitch. So you look at them and you think, off the pitch, they're a giant, but on the pitch, they're fighting relegation.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday are a big club as well.
Oh, Sheffield Wednesday, yeah.
One of my favourite ever games.
See, people forget Manchester City were one of the original Premier League alumni.
That's in the history, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And by the way, see, the other metric people look at, and this is just for the more people who like to do the social media. I'm just going to share this right now.
So I've just got to go for 1 second.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No worry. Yeah. Right here, as you can see, this is social media following. United at top. As you can see, 64 million. There might be slightly difference at the moment. City are the second biggest on social media.
Haaland's got more actually than Man United now.
Yeah.
Haaland alone has got 70-odd million.
Twitter, we've got nearly 18 million. TikTok, we've got nearly 30 million. YouTube, we're up there. Total 109 million. Liverpool are just not far behind. Then Chelsea, not even at 100. Tottenham, we are miles clear in most of the clubs.
The interesting thing for me,
media.
The interesting thing for me, Martin, is that if you could, you can't do it, but if we could put Real Madrid and Barcelona in that, then the question is why hasn't
Yeah, I
Manchester
just did it
United-
as UK following. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We can't do it, but I do know the numbers, right?
Yeah. Do you want to share them? I don't know them. Yeah, you can share them.
No, I haven't got the graphic up, but I can remember them because I've written quite a bit about this. Barcelona and Real Madrid have 100 million plus. My question to United is, why haven't you got that? Because you were dominant in that same era when social media gathered. Why haven't you got Real Madrid and Barcelona? You're not even close to Real Madrid and Barcelona. And your following for the last 5 years has been static. You've been stuck on that figure. And City have added something like 15 million. And so, these are interesting questions. This is the live dynamic of football. Social media plays a part in how you're perceived. And bringing it to reality, because some people think but the people saying, who cares? I don't care. That's fine, right? But a lot of people do. And hopefully this conversation will give you new ammunition.
If the show's not for you tonight, guys, the show's not for you.
Yeah.
But we've said this, we're not just going to do generic transfer videos daily because that gets boring for people. We are a channel that want to give you different variety stuff. And that's what we're doing tonight.
And so to bring it to the real world for those people, okay, go back to the original thing that I read out. And if you didn't listen to it, it's okay. I won't read it all again. But the big thing matters in how you're perceived by players who are thinking of coming to your club. And Elliot Anderson is a great example of it, right? He was 9 the last time. When United's era of dominance ended, he was 9 years old. He has no actual memory of that era of dominance. The last title they won was when he was 9 years old. He's never known anything but Man City being a big club. And so when you're trying to attract this sort of talent, like Buadi, whether you agree with the signing or not, whether you agree with how much he costs or not, the thing is, he's got the whole world of football at his feet. He can choose, look at the clubs that are interested in him. Where's he going? Man City. Where does he want? Man City. Because to him, he's an 18-year-old. He's never known us be anything but the biggest force in British football, in English football. He has no memory of any other club occupying the position that we're in. And I'll finish off by saying this. When United grew, it was over a sustained period of domination, and most of the people that they attracted were not from Manchester. Most of their growth was international. And that's what's happening to us now. We are either, and you can be, I'm a happy clapper. I think we're in the middle of our era of domination. Some people, because Pep's gone, will think we're at the end of it and it's all downhill from here. And some people will say, we're just at the beginning. If you follow the kind of Bill Shankly to Bob Paisley did better than Bill Shankly, who he replaced. And everyone thought that Shankly was irreplaceable. So we could be at the beginning of it. I'm not that happy at Clapper, but I'd say we're probably in the middle of our era of domination. And over the next 10 years, if we sustain it, not even at Pep levels, the growth will continue exponentially.
Yeah.
And the harrowing thing is...
Can I just come to comment? Because I knew this would come up by someone. Martin, that's an unrelated point. How can you say you're a big club and you can't fully sell out your stadium for most weeks?
99.6% occupancy of our stadium by percentage. It's just a nonsense. You believe
it's
it
known
because it gives you comfort.
That a lot of Premier League clubs now, and a lot of clubs around Europe, don't sell their stadium out at the moment.
But we do. We sell. Look, what more can you expect? If we're selling 98% of the possible capacity, 90 every game for the last 10 years, how do you make sense of what you've just said? How can that still be true? It's still true for you because you have to believe it, because you want to believe it.
One thing I will say, Trev,
we actually do 99 point something percent every season.
I know you're giving them numbers, and that's factual, and that's fine. I don't fully believe those numbers. Only because I see.
But we're the last people, Martin. To be honest with you, we are the last people who should be saying that.
No. Just
in terms of messaging, we don't want to give these people ammunition.
No, because no, I'm
Even
not saying
City
because,
fans say that's
no,
not real figures.
I don't mean it in that way. The reason City fans say it is not a thing for rivals. Let rivals do that. There's a big thing at the minute between.
Yeah, but they'll clip you up saying we lie about
I don't
our
care if they can clip me up
attendances.
because they don't know the facts. I don't care what a 13-year-old sat in mummy's bedroom thinks personally. We're doing it because, like right now, City have put. I just think there's a general problem with tickets in football.
Separate issue.
Yeah,
Separate
that's what
issue.
I'm saying.
I get it. I get it. And I know that that's a
I'm not
common
looking
theme
at it
for
from
you.
a banter point of view. We're looking at it from a clubs have stopped looking after their match-going fans.
That's a different show.
That's a different show completely.
Yeah.
So
in
the context, in the paradigm of bigness.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, the fact is that, you know, for the club's accountants, if you sold the ticket, it's attendance if you don't turn up. But for the match-going fans who miss out, you know, or, you know, fans who can't afford to go, who would love to go, and then they see someone else has a season ticket or whatever else, and they haven't turned up and gone to the game, yeah, I guess it can be frustrating. And
yeah, you know, that's a bit harsh because they're not lazy bastards. Some have genuine concerns and reasons.
You know, you see some of the stories coming out in the press. I mean, it's actually United have taken hundreds of tickets off, you know, fans. And I saw one blown up in the media yesterday where an 8-year-old, I think he was, season ticket holder, has had his season ticket taken off him because his mum was axing his account for him.
It's an absolute shocker.
You know, and just stuff like that. And, you know, that how they'd know even is beyond me. But there's just
yes, they have sold out. Our season tickets have sold out. Yes.
Yeah, it's just silly. And
I mean, for me, the thing is a big club is I don't just look at attendances. I look at historic lineage. I look at commercial things. I look at where players want to go to right now. What is the hot ticket in football? And I think Manchester City is up there as one of the hottest tickets in town. And I think it has been for the last 10 years. I believe it goes off the way the club is run, what goes on the infrastructure, inside and out. If anyone goes to the Etihad now or the Etihad campus, it's world class. It's number one in its stature around the world.
And that's a very good point, Martin. There's, you know,
do you know what I mean? It isn't just about the stadium. Yeah. You look at what's over the road and what's around it, and it's crazy.
And, you know, some people say, you know, there are so many measures of how big a club is. One, you know, nowadays, sadly, the biggest measure that most club owners, etc., look at is how much a club's worth. And, you know, some clubs, they have good values because they're trading on the market or they've had recent share sales. And some of them, it's, you know, companies like Deloitte, you know, and Forbes, etc., value clubs. So for some people, it's who's the most valuable club. In a sense that as a commercial entity, as a football success, that is the biggest measure. Some people will measure the number of trophies, and, you know, number of trophies for being a big club, I think it's a good measure. What I hate is when people confuse history and trophies, because history and trophies are two totally different things. You can have a history of 170 years.
So do you look at things like Forbes?
Yeah, I mean, they're interesting to look at to see how, when measured independently,
on Forbes, City are the 7th most valuable.
Yeah, and that's because Forbes go and use absolutely, you know, factual measures. They don't have opinions. They're looking at media exposure, the value of the assets, the debt, the size of, you know, things owned. They're looking at the media following. They're looking at everything to truly value it, and they're valuing it in the way, if someone was going to do a takeover, this is what this company would be valued at. So they're taking out fandom or anything from it.
Well, I'm just looking at Forbes, like you said. Forbes have got Real Madrid number one, $9.5 billion, Barcelona $7.5 billion. United a third, 7.2 billion. Liverpool 6.2 billion. PSG 5.8. Bayern Munich 5.7, City of 5.4, Arsenal of 5.4 billion. Chelsea are only 4.2 billion, so the Chelsea fan can suck on my getting your little daddy box. And Tottenham are the 10th most valuable at 3 billion. So
I'm going to send you some graphics, Martin.
We're really not, mate, because we're worth more than you. So get in your box.
Okay. I'm going to send you a graphic. Just leave it up and let people consume it. I'm just clipping it up now. Oh, fucking hell. Come on.
Yeah, and the wider CFG, all the football clubs we own in America, in Brazil, in Belgium, in France, in India. I'm trying to think, where else do we own them? Australia.
I've just sent you the numbers, the official audited numbers of attendance. Don't take the first graphic off your WhatsApp. Take the second one because it's a 10 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put this to bed. This is the point I'm trying to make here. If you can put that up, it'd be great. I'm not going to put this to bed. The important thing to remember is that rival fans need to believe that we do not sell out our ground and that, you know, we have thousands and thousands of empty seats every game. They have to believe that, but it's actually totally false. But they won't stop. Even I've shown them these numbers and they've gone, you've made those numbers up, or I don't believe those numbers. And it's fine. And then I've sent them the sources for those numbers and they still won't believe it because they can't allow themselves to deal with it. Look, 99.3%, and that was because of the construction cap. 99.5%, 99.4%, 99.3, 0.4, 0.7, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. But all 99s or 1 year 98.4. I don't know what happened that year, 21, 22. Part-timers, plastics. But do you know what? If you're getting 98%, if you're getting 97% of your capacity for every single game, nobody can say you've got no fans and be factually right. And so the important thing to remember is they're not interested in being factually right about this, okay? They don't care. They have to believe that we have no fans. And that's a sad reflection on them, but you'll never win the argument with them. It's like the old pigeon chess thing, you know. Never play chess with a pigeon because at the end of the game, they'll just knock over all the pieces and strut around like they won and shit all over the table. It's that we're dealing with. But because we're talking about how big our club is, some people might wonder how much we sell out our stadium. Well, that's how much. Those are the facts. You can quibble with them. Take off 3% if you like, right? If you want to say, oh, it's not that, you know, and you feel like it's less than that, then take off 5%. If you're selling out 95% of your stadium, you're still fucking pretty damn good and full. You know, so take off percentages if it makes you happy. I don't care. I use these figures because these are the best figures that I can find from sane sources. I don't ever put anything out that isn't researched because I know what comes back when I put anything out. But take a look at that. Drink it in. Enjoy those numbers because that's the truth about our club. And more of you need to understand. Trev, do you believe everything you see on the internet? Do one. Come back at me with your figures. You want to challenge me on those figures? You only have one option. Come back with figures that contradict the ones I've put out.
But Trev, we live in a post-facts era now.
Do you believe everything you read on the internet is not a sensible adult answer to what I just put out? What you have to do now, and we will post it, contradict those numbers. That's the only answer you've got.
But we live in a post-fact. We live in a post-fact era. We live in an era where people authoritatively will tell you hundreds of millions of people have died because of a COVID vaccine. Yeah, they won't be able to name a single one, but that's
no problem, Rama. Take care, mate.
You know, sadly, so it doesn't matter what the facts are. It's just
what tell me then, Rama.
Yeah,
no problem. Enjoy yourself. We're not for everyone. We understand we're not here to be for everyone. That's fine.
Yeah, it's
Some people have a choice. People don't want to be here. That's up to them. No offense.
I must admit, I'm a bit worried about that comment about YLB showing the right sort of length.
LB's in bloody Spain at the minute.
Yeah, he obviously wants a very different kind of channel to what we are.
Can you explain to me, do I put the bins out like that comment? Because I don't get it. I don't put my bins out. I have staff.
Appreciate that, Luca. Hey, listen. I'm listening. We're not going to on this. No, I mean, the thing, hey, listen, I get it. I just, it's different for me because I go off the eye test as well, and my eyes don't lie. And that's my thing with me with it. Yeah. Right.
Different show.
Oh, missus. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I think City are one of the biggest clubs going at the moment, and I think we are. I think we've always been big, but we had a period in the 90s and the 80s a little bit where we were a bit down. But before then, City were always huge, and City were always pulling in attendances, and we were always up there. I remember watching a documentary when the late great Don Reva was with Leeds United, and they were winning everything in the early 70s. And he used to say that Malcolm Allison's City and Joe Mercer's City were huge, and they were always competing.
And Leeds were massive then.
Yeah, with
that Leeds Barcelona kind of link up.
And he said it was always Liverpool or City that were challenging them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
to see Joe Mercer's aces.
You know, and this is my thing, people forget. And the thing I've always said about City's history and City's thing, it's erased since we got taken over. Our history got erased a little bit to suit the people online who hate what Manchester City has become, because we started taking food off other people's table, the traditional big whatever, the red cartel as I call them, because in the essence of it, City were always everyone's second club. We were always the loyal fan base. We were always the best fans in the world. And that all changed because of hatred and jealousy and I'll say it, a little bit of xenophobic or racism coming from our see, and there you go. You've just proved my whole point. You're a Middle Eastern club that has a tinge of racism stuck behind it, and I don't like it. And you have an issue with your own self. You need to look in the mirror and have a look at your own self.
But that is an admission of defeat. Yeah, that's the admission of defeat. You know, I'm laughing about it. I mean, Chelsea are like little puppies for City. I think we've won, is it 11 wins and 3 draws in our last 14 games against Chelsea? Like, we get Chelsea on the list. We count the 3 points.
Chelsea are City's bitches.
Yeah, and that's why it's hilarious looking at. I mean, Chelsea, finished above us I don't know, 3 times in the last decade, maybe in the last decade, maybe only twice, who we routinely beat 2 or 3 times every season. We normally knock them out of a cup as well as beating them. And I mean, they're just like little puppy dogs. And, I just think ultimately, if someone then just goes down to the nationality of an owner, they've admitted defeat. They've lost every rational argument, and they're like, but you're ugly. But your mum smells. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'd never go and publicly embarrass myself like that on a.
Well, I'm seeing it now because
it's just.
Listen,
let's not forget dirty oil money. It's never oil money. It's dirty oil money.
Yeah.
Why?
But the fact a school teacher from the old Soviet Union suddenly became a billionaire oil money. That's clean oil money. It was completely legitimately acquired.
Rich, we won.
He's a teacher who just happened to have 20 billion in his bank accounts.
There's no City fan that's ever denied we won the lotto. No one ever said we didn't win the lottery.
We don't. We know we love it. We love it. Yeah. Our dream came true. Yeah. We'd actually love it if it happened for more clubs.
And that's the funny thing is, we're one of the few fan bases secure enough to admit we won the lottery. It's happened because of this. All the other clubs had their own lottery wins and had their own massive investments, but they're too insecure because there is this, you know, it's mainly kind of Liverpool are the worst at this, but there's this kind of like with the chosen people attitude among Liverpool that somehow there's a folklore and mystique and magic that floats around the streets of Anfield, and that people born into that are born to greatness. And through, you know, local players like Mo Salah, who grew up in Toxteth, and Virgil van Dijk, who was, I think he played for Bootle Boys when he was a kid.
Yeah.
They grow up and they born to play for
was
Liverpool, and then they play for Liverpool. And Liverpool don't have sponsors, and they don't have tape recorded music playing before games, and you know, everything is almost religious. It's so American, you know. We're like this. We're not football. We're a religion, you know. We're the chosen people. I mean, you know, and yeah, Arsenal and United are getting a bit like that. Long period of success of not having success has meant they've kind of fallen back on their history.
And my famous United one, United's foundation myth, is that Alex Ferguson was driving down Barton Dock Road in Salford and found a bunch of 11 orphans,
scruffy orphans,
having a game of Kirby, and signed them all up for a chippy tea and a bottle of Inso. It's bollocks. It's absolute bollocks, but they believe it like it's real.
And then they talk about this glorious history. Now, Liverpool were founded by a Tory mayor, and I think it's beautiful that he was a Tory. You know, considering
I don't care.
Who was a director? Who was a director of Everton? So Liverpool were formed from Everton, and he owned the ground that they played at, and he tried to triple the rent to Everton, and the rest of the board said, no, we're not doing that. So he kicked them out of the ground and formed Liverpool, you know, basically, you know, as a little kind of puppy, like the rib of Everton, formed Liverpool. And he made his money through brewing. So, you know, in a city that made its money through slavery, and they kind of pretend we are this kind of founded from God. I mean, it's
and then they were
gambling
on their high horse about stake. The Littlewoods Pools Company. A lot of people in the chat won't remember this because
they took money from the poor and invested it in
the model of Littlewoods Pools. Okay, you got a pools coupon. Someone came to your house, right, and they dropped off the pools coupon, and you would have to get 6 score draws. You'd have to predict 6 score draws to win the jackpot. And the jackpot was a lot of money. There's a brilliant movie called Spend, Spend, Spend about how one woman in the 60s won £100,000, which was like £10 million, and done it all in a year, right? Because she was just a working class woman, not very bright, had loads of people take advantage of her. But the thing is, the people who did the pools, the odds of winning were just so minimal, the same as the lottery. But most of the people, like with the lottery, most of the people who bought it were poor people. It was aimed specifically at the working class, selling them the dream that it could be you in one. Just pick those 6 score draws, and that's how Liverpool were funded. That's who owned them, you know. So they're not clean. They're not clean. They took advantage of working class people and sold them betting in their houses. You didn't have to go to the bookies. You couldn't go online because it didn't exist. They sent the pools man round to your house on a Thursday or a Friday night to drop the coupon off, and he'd come and collect it the next day or whatever, certainly before kick-off. So that's how Liverpool built their club, by exploiting working class people's aspirations to get out of the poverty that they were in by winning the pools. How moral. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
We never do anything wrong. Fuck off.
Purely legal, Michael. Blue Heart classic.
I'm enjoying this show, and I hope that the chat Different Day thinks it's boring.
I'm sorry,
No, I think, and that's why I'm thinking, you know, there's obviously the history of United's owner making money selling dodgy meat to the school kids of Manchester, you know.
And why are you embarrassing yourself by saying that you seem more black? You don't. It didn't
Yeah, well,
happen. You do not see more Blackpool fans.
Well,
You just don't. Why lie?
He lives in Blackpool. He lives in Blackpool, and he's colourblind. You know, so,
He can only see orange.
yeah. I mean, it's it's just I think it's quite funny. It
Look
really
at Kathy
is.
there. Trev had to kiss my anti-scoop on every week. Well, don't forget, spot the ball as well. Spot the ball, biggest con ever. Biggest con.
Yeah, no, I mean it's and I think that's why the morality in football, and you look at the, anyone who tries to paint saintliness, given
we get the dirty oil money from Arsenal fans.
But there's dirty oil money, there's dirty gambling money, there's dirty alcohol money.
What's that on your shirt?
Yeah.
What's that on your shirt? And what's the name of your stadium again?
Yeah.
Is it the dirty oil money shirt and the dirty oil money stadium?
And then we've had such highly moral, never been in trouble companies like Standard Chartered. And then you see these American billionaires owning clubs who their money's clean, because if you make your money in some of the things that some of the American owners have made the money, it's so clean and so moral. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't think there's many. I don't think there's many clubs in the Premier League who, if any, if you actually look at their owners and their sponsors, who can really say all of this. Maybe when Norwich were there and Delia Smith, maybe Cookery Books and things. Maybe that is pretty good, clean money. But to think there's not many who haven't made their money either, in places like Egypt or the UAE or behind
every great fortune is a crime.
Yeah, and there's not many who aren't making their money from massive exploitation of people. It's just so naive, and Arsenal are the ones that crack me up the most. They essentially sit there with a hard right wing, American sport and media owner who has some very distasteful political positions, who married a Walmart heiress, the ultimate, one of the ultimate companies. Yeah. And, you've got that. And then they're sponsored by the UAE. Their ground is sponsored by the UAE. And then they're out there playing some like high, deeply moral thing. Now, I'm not actually claiming City of that. I'm saying
any morality.
All the Premier League teams are in the same boat. There is, there are maybe, even like Brighton and Brentford are effectively owned by gambling people and sponsored by financial institutions. So, maybe there is one or two, but off the top of my head, I can't really think of any that you look at anything.
No one's clean.
They're pure as a drum. So,
and again, going back to my point about
Tottenham, people are the Tottenham. They're not back up. They only have money because they're owned by someone who basically broke the Bank of England currency speculating against Norman Lamont and John Major, and basically, you could say it has earned through his gambling, or you could say stole straight from the pensions and the NHS of Britain, got billions of pounds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds, billions in today's term, for
he did what people say Soros does.
Yeah, trying to crash the pound. And when the government had to pay that money to try and defend the pound, that was coming straight out of the hospitals, their schools, and the Navy or whatever else of Britain into the pockets of Tottenham's owner, who then spent his time living in legal and tax havens, in the Bahamas or wherever, getting insider trading charges in the US and never stepping foot in England for more than X number of days because doesn't want to have to pay a penny of tax. Sir Jim, exactly the same. Offshore companies exploiting, crumbling companies. I mean, Sir Jim's kind of like the not dissimilar to Abramovich. You're buying up distressed assets in unnaturally cheap ways. Except, to be fair to Sir Jimmy, didn't manage to he didn't go from being a teacher to a multi-billionaire.
A billionaire overnight because he knew
he went
someone.
from being quite rich and in the industry to being a multi-billionaire. So, you know, following a lot more legitimate, but everyone's done it, and it's, you know, I think, but, you know, back to the big club thing. Who cares? I think there's something beautiful about being a small club, and I guess in my mind, I've always thought there's big clubs, there's medium clubs, there's small clubs, and, you know, I'd have clubs like Coventry City would be their medium clubs. You know, clubs, you know, as wide apart as Newcastle, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea. You know, they're all big clubs. And in my mind, being older, I probably think of clubs like Wednesday and, you know, Sunderland. Those are big clubs too. Then you've got those kind of mid clubs, the Coventry Cities, the West Broms. You know, they're definitely not small clubs, but they're not big clubs either. And then you've got the small clubs, you know, the Oxford Uniteds,
Portsmouth,
Swindons. Portsmouth, I'd say in the middle tier. They've had some success.
I have an irrational hatred for them.
Yeah, they've won league titles though. So, you know, haven't they won the league more recently than Tottenham? Or was it about the same time? Yeah, it's about the same time. So then you got the small clubs, but there's something I love about the small clubs. I mean, you know, when you bump into
we were one.
Yeah, but when you bump into a fan, when you support a small club and you bump into a fan, supports the same club, you know, it's something really special. It's, you know, it's interesting. You know that you share passion and memories and everything else. The truth is, when you're a big club, if, you know, years and years ago, you bumped into a City fan at the other end of the world and you were guaranteed a good chat. Nowadays, you bump into a City fan every 15 minutes. And, you know, there are things that make that less special. There are things I long for about, you know, and I don't think we were ever small because...
But it is a bit nostalgia, you know. I have the nostalgia. I have the nostalgia for the intercity special trains going to places that you normally only go through on the way to somewhere good and getting off at the places that you normally go through. You know,
and you know, but when you meet someone and you have a chat and it's exciting, and you know, you got a City shirt on and you're walking down the street in San Diego or Seoul or wherever, and someone goes, "All right, Blue," and you're like, and you stopped and talked to them. Whereas now, if I'm wearing a City shirt, walking any of these places,
just fade into the background.
People have seen them every day.
We're not special anymore,
they
mate.
They don't know if you're a lifelong, you know, a lifelong Blue, or whether you've just picked them up. And so it does take it away. And
I want to ask you something, Rich, and also to the chat. This is I'm gonna declare how I feel about it. When Newcastle got their oil money, I was happy. I was really happy for them because they've got this incredible fan base. Our dream came true. We got money dropped on our heads, and it was spent well, which people cannot take away from us. The people who dropped the money on our head knew what they were fucking doing, and still do, and they are brilliant. So we got hit by the fortune fairy with a big lump of money, but also very, very smart people behind that money who knew what they were doing and still do. I wanted it to happen for more clubs when it happened to us, because I'm just bored of the red cartel. I want them to be uncomfortable.
I think
another club to get hit by the oil stick. You know, I would be just over the moon if it was Leeds, for instance, because I remember Leeds' era of being mighty giants, and I know how passionate that city is for that football.
Yeah,
you know,
Villa.
I mean, they're not always the nicest.
Villa. I'd love to see Villa or Everton back.
Yeah, or Everton especially.
I'd love to see Marinakis being able to go out and spend all 116 million without any accounting or thinking about what that means for FFP. I'd like to see, because I've said it on this show many times. There's only two fair ways for football to be. One is you can spend and do whatever you like, pure capitalism, and one is a salary or spending cap that is exactly the same for every club. like
Yeah.
you have in a lot of American sport, like you have in rugby league, like you have in, I think, in union and a lot of sports.
You
Right.
got Miguel
So you
Delaney's
either- yeah.
You've
But
got Miguel
what we
Delaney,
have,
who basically wants a football version of North Korea.
well, to be honest, that would be better than what we. That would, in some ways, would be better than what we have, because what we have at the moment is rules in football that say the rich can be rich and stay rich, the poor have to be poor and stay poor, and the middle have to be middle and stay middle. And if you're poor and you get money or you do really well, you can't actually go and spend the money, because we're going to put these rules in place that stop you. And so, you know, the only other way to do it fairly,
help us do that.
Yeah,
the league are going to help us do that.
Rich, I was just about to say, like, now, even if some of these clubs do get taken over, and let's not act like most of these clubs have billionaire owners.
Well, I think 19 of the 20.
Let's not call them poor. Let's not say they're poor.
Yeah.
Right, but I think with the rules in place now, it doesn't matter if a team gets taken over. You're kind of, you know, depending on your revenue, you kind of are like, you really can't do anything, because everything now is based on your revenue. That's what Newcastle is facing right now. Newcastle is a prime example.
But it's unfair to have Champions League revenue counted in that, because that is going to that puts 5 clubs inherently massively ahead of everyone else. If they did it excluding Champions League money and said it's 100% of your revenue and excluding Champions League money, I think that would be fairer. But the whole intent of football rules in England is to embed the Champions League in certain clubs who always qualify for it and give them a permanent financial advantage. And the only thing about PSR and City is that they had an idea about who the 4 clubs would be, because it was 4 then, not 5. And City weren't supposed to be one of those 4. They took the place of the 4 teams who were supposed to be there, and they didn't like that. And they like even less the idea that Villa or Newcastle might take places from the 4 clubs who were supposed to have those places.
So do the chat want other clubs to get what we got? Because I just want Liverpool, United and Arsenal to finish lower than 5th in the same season. I dream of that day. You know, I just want that to happen so much. And then they might fire all those ex-Red pundits. Martin, your mic's off.
It's just want to ask, where's this "I get a lot wrong" come from in the chat tonight?
Nah,
because if you want, I'm just asking.
I'm not allowed to engage. If I'm not allowed to engage,
I'm asking because apparently I'm getting slagged off in other channels. What I'm trying to ask at the minute is, where's that coming from? What am I getting wrong? Because what I said was, just to clarify, I said City wanted Tonali. David Ornstein confirmed 2 days ago. Sorry, today. City were looking at Tonali.
They were, but
the big debate.
I've heard, Martin, that Maresca watched our show, listened to me and Trev.
We also
you bang on and said no, we're not having him.
We also said about the Rodri situation long ago. We also said about the Foden contract long before. I'm not asked about being an ITK. We just give information.
We are KFAs. We know fuck all.
But yes, we do speak with people. And we do. And that's what it is. And we're going to get people on here who, you know, we've had all sorts of people on. But this thing about, you know, there's now 4 people who come in tonight to do this. We all speak. I'm on esteemed companies. It was meant to be today, but it's going to be tomorrow or Monday. I'm on Stephen's channel coming up. So why are people trying to make some fake beef between channels? I don't know, because you're making yourself look fools.
Yeah.
We've all got each other's phone numbers. I don't know what you all think we're doing here, guys, but stop trying to get the Arsenal YouTube reaction out of people because you ain't going to get it.
What we won't be doing is, let me tell you what happens when those channels beef with each other. They all have a WhatsApp group, right? They all talk to each other. They rehearse what the beef's going to be, and they rehearse the arguments before they go on air. So they might be from 6 different clubs, but they've all talked to each other before, right? And they said, right, what are we going to beef about? Because they know that the beef gets the clicks. And then they work it out, and then they go on air, and they're acting a beef. It's not really a beef. They're all mates. And if you think that they're genuinely beefing each other, they're not. It's a script. They're just going off a beef script because they know that that gets people excited. And so, you know, don't ever take their beef seriously. They don't dislike each other. They all like each other because they're all in business together, whether that's financially or whether that's in terms of the model of engagement that they all follow. It's scripted. All the beefs that you see, all the rants that you see are all scripted. There are a couple who are brilliant at it, right? You know, who's the Tottenham fan? His scripted rants are absolutely magnificent. It's poetry. You know, I can't remember his name now. But I will watch those, even though I know that they're scripted, because they're entertaining. But the rest of them, and bless him, Saeed, who I love, right? I don't love any United creators, but Saeed I really, really like. He's not very good at it. You can see him when they're doing their fake beefs. You can see him smiling. He's a bit self-conscious about it. He's not that comfortable with it. And his own content's dead good. So, you know, maybe he doesn't need to play the game so much. But Saeed, he just can't be convincing with these fake beefs. He just can't watch them and watch Saeed's face because he's grinning. He almost breaks character. You know, it's lovely.
But no, I know we talk about, I know from the fans' perspective, we want sports to be fair. But if we're all honestly, when has sports ever been fair? I know that's like a fan's dream, and we talk about that, and that's a great idea. But sports have never been fair.
I mean, I guess that, you know, the very, very fact at the beginning of sports is some people are born with the athletic ability and the, you know, capability of playing sport, and some aren't. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, nothing's fair. I mean, to be fair though, Ed, in the US, you have fairer sports in general. You know, there are salary caps and luxury taxes and things that do allow, you know, a spreading of success in US sport that's actually a lot better than it is in the Premier League. I mean, I know US sports is more about money and companies and making money than anywhere else on earth. But one thing the US has realized is that having the same club winning it every year isn't good for business. And so some, you know, fairness has been created, that at least means if the LA Dodgers are going to have the best baseball team and spend the most money, they're having to pay money into the game
they pay
to do
for it, right?
Yeah,
but
and you know,
they don't have relegation or promotion.
System. Yeah, I know that's true, but and the draft system allows for unsuccessful clubs to, you know, even if they can't keep the player they draft in, they can trade them for something valuable. So, you know, there is, in a funny sort of way, there's more fairness in US sport, even as the ultimate sports business country on earth, than there is in the Premier League. I think European football, with its rules, and Spain's even worse. I mean, Premier League is one of the few European leagues that spreads the money evenly to the teams. So at least Bournemouth can get 85% of the money City get in a Premier League season. You know, Spain, Madrid and Barca, I don't know what the percentage is now, got 80% of the money for the Spanish league between them. And then they pretend it's a real competition when two teams get everything and everyone else is competing on, you know, they've got 40% each and every other team's competing on what, about 1.5% each, 30 times more. So, and then they pretend they're the moral bastions of world sport, you know, Madrid. I mean, but I just think, honestly, I don't even get into arguments about it nowadays, because as soon as someone says we're bigger, it's like, yeah, we're better. You be bigger, we'll be better. I don't care.
Yeah. How reliable do we think FootMob are at the app? I'm going to make some people happy, I think. Okay, well, they're not unserious. Bit of nuance about Rodri. Oh, hello. Can I do it, or are we sticking with the big club thing, or shall I just?
No, we're moving on now. We're going to go on to the Kevin Keegan tribute in a minute.
Yeah, I've got to drop in about 2 minutes, actually.
Okay, Real Madrid's Rodri reluctance justified by fresh Man City injury blow. The injury blow is something that we all know about. So they're putting in the back surgery, which is day case. He's in and out. It's like a trip to the dentist. So, but never mind. But it's the nuance that they're putting on it. Real Madrid have been heavily linked with the move for the 30-year-old. The report suggests that Rodri is keen on going. Central, however, Los Blancos are not expected to make a move for the 2024 Ballon d'Or winner. And this is the interesting bit. Central to Madrid's concerns over Rodri are his availability and physical reliability after the devastating knee injury in 2024, and is yet to rediscover his best form at club level, even though he was outstanding for Spain. According to The Athletic, a fresh physical issue is now sending Rodri back to the sidelines. Madrid officials will have no regrets about steering their focus elsewhere in the market. That is a new narrative just dropped. I don't rate FootMob's reporting there because they're stitching together some disparate threads. But it's the first time that I've heard associated with Real Madrid concerns about his injuries and fitness. And that's new. And they've not got that from nowhere. They're referencing The Athletic. And so that will be out somewhere. And if it's out of the Madrid propaganda, that's what Perez wants out there. So if it's from the Madrid propaganda accounts, Perez wants it out there. He's giving himself an out because he's got fans demanding that he signs Rodri. He's got all of their media demanding, because the decision is his, demanding. All the propaganda's aimed at Perez, not at us, not at Rodri, although a bit. It's mainly aimed at getting Perez to find the money and put the money down for Rodri today, right? And if this nuance is coming out about a concern about an injury, I would suggest that that's Perez looking for an off-ramp, looking for a way to get out of this, to stop the pressure on himself and to give their fans something that they can say, yeah, actually, the injury is a bit of a worry. It's a nonsense. Of course it is. We saw how he bowled out in the World Cup. So, but it's if Real Madrid are now looking for an excuse, other things are going on that people aren't reporting. And I think City's offer has basically given Rodri a real thing to think about, because it's going to cost him money to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, no, it's going to cost him a lot of money to go this year. Clearly, Real Madrid will have a fixed amount of money, and Rodri effectively will get the money in a year's time that City will get if he goes today. So whatever the transfer fee is, for a year, there will be a little bit of that Real Madrid will consider worth it for an extra season. But in the main, Rodri goes today, he takes, if it's a 50 million fee, he takes 50 million out of his wages for the next 4 years. So, it's a big call. And so that's why I've never thought they're going to do a deal that we'd accept.
We've agreed on
Rodri would accept. We had to overpay for Gay, because Gay didn't want to accept any cut in his wages for going 6 months earlier, and who can blame him, to be honest? But we overpaid because we had the view that it was worth it because we had no centre backs. But I think Good Johnson, is actually a City fan taking the mick, because he's just come with the weakest.
You wouldn't say such preposterous things seriously.
No, he's just said seeing City in Europe's like seeing Oxford now. City are now fourth. I think the only clubs who have qualified for the Champions League more seasons on the trot to today than City are Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich. No other. We've been in every European 16 years or 17 years now on the trot, and we are behind only Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich in terms of being a fixture in the Champions League now.
Yeah,
and
so
I think
just going back to the
over those
Rodri thing,
15 years, only one of those clubs has played more European games in the last decade than City. I think.
Yeah, Good Johnson's taking the piss because he wouldn't say things like that.
He's
seriously.
He's a blue.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
I have to say good night or good morning
right,
because I've got to go to work. Cheers.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. Well, I want to move on to this. Cheers, Rich.
Cheers.
Obviously, the late great Kevin Keegan passed away sadly earlier this week. Lost his battle to cancer. The thing that is lovely at the moment is Newcastle and Liverpool play each other on the opening weekend of the Premier League season, and they are planning to do something for him. They play each other on Sunday, the 23rd of August. It is live on Sky at 4:30. So they are going to do a big tribute at St. James's Park for the late, great Kevin Keegan. I'm sure City will do something as well at the opening game of Bournemouth as well. When we play on the Sunday as well, I think it's at 2:30. So yeah, I just wanted to. I know we touched on this in the week, but I really wanted to have a thing on this. What were your memories of the late great Kevin Keegan? Because for me, it was the best football I ever watched at City in a long time. I would even say, and this is going to sound wild, it was more entertaining than Pep Guardiola football. Wasn't as successful, nowhere near, but it was damn entertaining. And I heard David Mooney make a great piece on Let Me Talk podcast with Sam Lee this week, and he said it was the first time you went to Main Road and you were excited.
Yeah, I disagree with that. But that's because I'm older than everybody. So, I remember, Dennis Churt and Franny Lee. So,
yeah,
I was excited. But then again, I was 7. I got excited about a lot of things when I was 7. Spider-Man, the cartoon, for instance. And
I still get excited about Spider-Man. It's all right, mate. My tickets are booked for a new day.
Yeah, I don't get the movies. I like the original cartoon. I sent my son, Lou, the original cartoons because Andrew, my grandson's got into Spider-Man big time. He's 3 and a bit. And so I sent him the original cartoons because Lou's got a really good sense of humour and he got the sense of humour in the cartoons and he's watched about 10 of them now. So because the original cartoons from the 60s, I don't remember in the 60s, but they were certainly part of my childhood in the 70s. He was actually very funny, like in the way that Johnny Bravo, some of you will remember Johnny Bravo, it had that kind of sense of humour in it. So it was well worth watching. So going back to Kev, I was trying to think of the memories. And the other day I said, England went out of the World Cup in exactly the perfect way that we didn't want them to go out of the World Cup, which was they didn't try and win that game. They went 1-0 up and tried to defend it. You could never accuse Kevin Keegan of doing that. We'd be 3-0 up and he'd still be going for more goals, right? And we could end up drawing 3-3. Keegan didn't give a shit. It was kamikaze football. It was full on, we're going to score more than you. End of, right? And we're going to do that even if we're 2-0 down or even if we're 3-0 up. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep on you. We're going to stick at it. And we got some massive results because of it. Because of that attitude, everybody feared going to City. Even though we weren't successful then, everybody feared us. Every club looked at that game a bit like we'll look at a Bournemouth game now and think, don't fancy it because they're any good, right? But they feared us. And that was the first time I remember clubs routinely fearing us, not looking forward to their game against City. And the other story I've got is that I was living in Phuket when I think the year after Kev took over. And I went into a little bar because I knew that they had all the football. It wasn't a big bar, but I knew I could go in there. It'd be quiet. It's owned by an Irish ex-jockey. And I said to him, nobody else. And there was one other lad in. And I said, can you put the City game in? Sure I can, Trev. This lad here is here for the game. He was a lad from Cork who was like a mad City fan because his dad was a City fan. And he went, he's a mad bastard. I said, who? He said, you fucking Keegan fella. No, he's mental, and I love him. And he was mad for Kevin Keegan. And we watched the game, we won 4-0. So, it's like, that was a great memory, and we got absolutely plastered afterwards.
I remember Keegan growing up as a kid, watching him, and he was only small. What was he, 5'10" or something? He was only small, and watching him. I mean, not a lot of people mention about his playing. Everyone's talking about his managerial career.
Yeah.
But watching him, he was one of them tenacious strikers. He'd get up the size of him, he would win a lot of headers. It was a good combination between him and Toshak. And Toshak was on the wing,
Yeah.
And he'd send him in, and he was tenacious in the box. Great player watching him. But that was a good Liverpool side as well.
He was on the Sugar Puffs. He was on Brute 33.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that one the other day. I'd forgotten about Brute 33. It was him and Henry Cooper were the spokesman for Brute 33.
It was probably one of the first, would you say?
Superstars.
Superstars, yeah. He probably was.
Media stars.
Stars. And it was unusual for a player probably then to go abroad and do what he did. You know what I mean? So, and as a manager, he came the back end of Main Road, really, didn't he?
Yeah, he was on the transition. Yeah,
he was on the transition. So, and he's like Martin said, it was chaos football, no defense. He just went for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just went for it, and a beautiful person as well, a gentleman. Do you know what I mean? So you can listen to him the way he talks. You could listen to him all day, Keegan.
Yeah,
really nice bloke.
So some of the tributes, I can't remember. I'm not sure whether it was Elton Wellesby or not, but they said that they were there when he took over at Newcastle, and they were trying to get an interview with him, and he said, "Just hang on, I've got to sign the autographs," and he was there for 3 hours because like 2,500, 3,000 people turned up, and he made sure that everyone who wanted an autograph got an autograph, and he stayed there for 3 hours signing autographs. I talked the other day about the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, going highbrow now, poetry. But there's a line in it. It's a code for every man should read it at some point in his life. And there's a line in it that says, if you can keep the company of kings, yet retain the common touch. And that's what Keegan did. He kept the company of kings. He was a goat of his era. He was a Messi of his era. He was that big across all media and advertising, but he kept the common touch.
I mean, if you listen to that interview when they bought Shearer, that in front of the media, what a speech he did about the money. You spend your money. This is what you're spending your money on. Things like that. It was just genuine.
Yeah.
So genuine. And I'm enjoying. By the way, Elton Wellesby on Through Black and White Eyes. It's very good to listen to him.
He's great.
Very good. Yeah.
I'll probably edit that interview I did with him about the transition from Pep to I'll probably edit that this week. And someone's complimented me Cork accent. I do Cork very well. I've got good Cork friends.
Yeah, it was a good player. Looking back, if people could just watch back on YouTube. I know the football might be slower when you watch it these days, but the football, football was good.
Yeah. We never lost trying to defend a 1-0 lead, a 1-0.
It's like they had them small man syndrome. It's one of them, isn't he? When he was in the box and that,
And that's a good point. Blue Heart, the sweep era, was started by KK. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sean Wright Phillips, yeah.
Yeah.
Ed, any memories? Or does it not mean that much to you? Does it not resonate with you?
Nah, he was a great guy, but I wasn't really, I was going to be honest. I wasn't, 2004, I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
Right. Yeah,
him and Toshak were a great partnership. Brilliant. And it was, what was the other winger, Martin? Steve Highway. Was Highway before him?
Steve Highway?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was he the same era? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Played with him. I mean, like you said, played for Hamburg.
Yeah.
See, I always remembered him having that tussle with Billy Bremner when Liverpool played Leeds United.
That's right. That was a big game.
And they both got sent off in the Community Shield because obviously one of my idols is Brian Clough. I love Brian. Brian Clough was just an old-fashioned manager that said it as it was. If you were a dick, he called you a dick.
Yeah.
And the greatest line ever was, I'm sure Pep Guardiola learned off him at some point. I know he says, Johan Cruyff, but like he said, if God wanted him to play football in the sky, he'd have put clouds. He'd have put, grass up there.
Yeah.
It's on the neck.
That's why
it was so true. And I just think Keegan was I met him once with my dad. Such a nice guy. Such a nice guy he was. Really.
Gentleman.
And I always remember he was one who said you don't realise how big Manchester City is until you are in it.
Yeah.
Because from the bubble outside, everyone thinks, little old city that, we are Man United's bitches. And I always remember him and Stuart Pearce both said when you get in the place, you realise what a juggernaut the place is and what it is. And I remember him, and the big thing I remember was he did the Joe Mercer silhouette on the programme against Southampton, the last game of the season, when Joe Mercer, when he was coming to his end at City, that picture of him just with his back in the tunnel at Main Road, and Kevin Keegan did the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was great, and it's just so sad, and it was sad the way he left City.
Yeah,
because he looked a broken man when he left City. I always remember away at Norwich at Carrow Road, and I think it was like a Monday night, and he was wearing a leather jacket with spilt paint on it. He just looked like he'd done. And I think Keegan did that at every single football club he managed. He gave so much that I don't think you were ever going to get 10 years out of him as a manager. You were getting 4 or 5 years. Because I think he went till he dropped.
Yeah.
He went till he dropped.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the man he was.
I think with Cloughy, you just mentioned Cloughy then. That's why he probably never got the England job. Because he was just straight down the line, wasn't he? That's why he never got it.
He would have stood for no nonsense from the FA suits,
that's right.
The Blazer Brigade.
Talking about how big the club was, you only have to listen to Kevin Orlock. Obviously him being a Cockney, but anyone from south of Watford's a Cockney for me. And when he comes to the club, and he said how he didn't realise, how big the club was. But I know you're going back. I don't want to go back. I missed it. I was listening to you about how big the clubs are and that. But years ago, I grew up I was going to games late 70s and 80s. And I know you have all the facts, Trevor, but Martin and me, it's the eye test. Do you know what I mean? I'd go week in, week out. And you knew we were big. Yeah. All the first division, all clubs were the same. They're all big. It's only when a minnow club, when you played them in the FA Cup. That's when we got small clubs. But the first division, we was all in the same boat. There was no one bigger than others. The fan base, you can go both ways. You can go.
It's an invention of social media. It's an invention of social media.
This generational fan hasn't got a clue what we're talking about. You know what I mean? But anyway, bypass that.
But when I take it on, that's the generation I'm kind of trying to educate of our own fans who do get upset when people say we're small and that their club is bigger. I'm trying to give them some ammunition. I'm trying to give them something to fight back with.
And what you're saying, Trev?
They do like. I don't particularly enjoy that argument, but they do enjoy getting involved. And so I want them to have a full bunch of weapons behind them when they. I know because I was there.
I was there week in, week out, so I know. No one can argue with us. You know what I mean? I know. Right. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So, but if people want us, I know we're talking about Kevin. It's probably out of people's because of the generation. You just need to go back and have a look and just watch him.
Yeah. Just watch some of those games.
You can do that with a few players as well,
Yeah.
Anyway, right. I think we'll leave it there for tonight. I know it's not been Don't know. There's something going on tonight. People have decided they all want to come in and be dicks.
No, it's because this big club thing really animates the under.
It's really got everyone wound up, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it animates the under 30s, and so we've had more rivals come in to watch this show and talk bollocks than ever before, and that's because that's this is different kind of content.
Oh, I've got people coming at me going crazy. I unsubscribe now. We've actually gone up in subscribers, Baz. So,
yeah.
You know what I'd like to see on these comments is the age of the comment.
Yeah.
And then you'd know.
Oh no, apparently I'm a liar. 4 or 5 people have come in now. What they don't realise is I have already spoken to Stephen and Hamza tonight. It's why I went quiet. I was messaging them and I've had responses off them, and people can say what they want. This thing we speak.
They're just trying to manufacture beefs, mate.
Yeah, well, what you're trying to do is cause trouble. That ain't going to work because we do speak with each other.
Yeah.
It's pathetic and it's childish, and you need to grow up. Seriously. Yes, the FPL code will be out soon. We're in the process. That will be out soon, mate. So don't worry. It will be out. We'll get that sorted out. Another thing we're in the process of doing, we are setting up through Spartacus, who's helping us do this. We're setting up a website for the Mancunian Way that we're going to start putting out for shows and stats, and as we're going around, we're also going to have last season, you notice we did a prediction league for the panel. Well, we're looking at doing a prediction league for you guys.
I've already lost it.
So that's what we're doing.
Martin, you need to have a word with yourself, mate.
Why?
Sack Trevor. I saw comments show last night.
All right.
And Alan the racist is, the channel has sunk to new lows. Don't know where that's come from.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight.
And what have I got to do with Alan? We are exactly the opposite.
Oh, good.
You know, it's crazy that people just make these accounts just to come in here and just cause chaos, man.
Shit stirring.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're doing? You're showing that we're growing as a channel. That's all you're doing.
I'm an awful addition, apparently.
Listen,
Martin, thanks for your insight and your brilliant comments that we're all learning more about football from. Thank you so much.
What you got to realize is we're not going to. We will deal with things in a private manner. Alan is no longer on this channel anymore, and you know that, and people know this. Alan called in a phone-in show, and it was on for 5 minutes, and we've spoken with Alan since. And I'm not going to start making issues online. People just want to make this thing because you know what? We're growing, and people are exactly. They joined 1 minute ago. They don't realize that we can actually see when they joined. So it's the same people making fake accounts up because you sat in mummy's bedroom with your 3-inch dick in your hand, wishing you had a girlfriend.
Or you're an alt account of somebody I upset yesterday.
The difference is, guys, we're on camera doing this. You're at home watching us.
In your
Bang on, man. Bang on.
So you don't like us, unsubscribe. We don't have to be the biggest. We have to be the best. You can call us an ITK, fakeness, and everything else, but we get more things right than we've ever got wrong because we do speak to people. You don't like it, don't listen.
If you don't agree with something that people are saying,
just don't agree with us.
At least understand this. It's authentically what we believe. We don't say anything for engagement. We don't manufacture anything. These are genuine thoughts from genuine people. And it's fine to not disagree. What's not fine is to start throwing insults. You know,
yeah. I mean, listen, you know,
make your point. Make your point.
I had someone,
that's
and I had
brilliant.
them on
Love that.
I had them on X. They were celebrating my father's death, and then they followed it up with that I was going to die again soon. Now, this is the world that we're in. This is the world we live in.
That's just sick people, Martin, isn't it? That's just sick people.
It's the world we live in. You know, all I'll say is I pray to God your family don't get a serious illness.
Yeah.
reap what you sow in this world. I generally do believe that, guys. This is a channel for you guys. We're not here to be famous. We're not here to be this and the other. I will be on a Steam company. I will be on LB show and everything else. You don't like it, don't watch.
And everyone puts
That's
the time in for nothing.
Yeah.
I've just put 3 hours in for no financial benefit.
And no one's getting paid for
I don't
this.
promote anything. I don't tell people to go and watch this or see this. You know, what you're getting is the real live opinions of actual people who, if you met us, you would probably like. You know, but this anonymity you've got, you know, the being in the car syndrome that affects people on social media, where they feel like they can say things that they never say to somebody's face. It's cowardly. It's absolute cowardice.
That's right.
You wouldn't say that to my face. You wouldn't ever say it to my face.
And they certainly wouldn't say it to my face. Trust me.
Correct. So if you wouldn't say it to my face, don't put it in a comment anonymously. You pants-shitting coward.
Yeah, just to let you know, Didsbury Dave, I've already messaged Stephen and spoke to him, so works. Anyway, right, we're going to leave it there. So I need to put one thing up, which I know Trev was found just quite funny. Where's it gone?
Oh, I love this. Here's where we are online. There's 2 pictures. Just the first one first.
It's not. Come on, hang on. Just talk among yourselves for 10 seconds.
This is some of the finest AI slop I've ever seen, and there's 2 points I want to make about it, and it's quite funny. So if we can get it up. So basically, this lad has made one of those pyramids, those tiers of greatest ever City players. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at in a minute. And the one I want you to focus on, because I've done a close-up of it, so we'll show that second, is Paul Lake.
That looks, yeah, I won't say it.
Have we got it?
Yeah, it tells you they're not actually proper City vans. They haven't even done it fucking correctly. It's quite funny.
So this is this guy. He's made this.
First one.
Right, have a good look at this. He's made it, right, and this is his greatest City players of all time, right? The thing is, he's made this and clearly doesn't know what most of these players looked like, because if you can we have the zoomed into Paul Lake, because it's a beauty.
I'm sure he's AI this, because that looks fuck all.
No, it's AI. It's obviously AI. But when you make something like this, but if you're going to say this is my tier list, this is how much I know about the club, that I can put them in a ranked order, you at least have to know that the AI has given you a picture.
Hang on,
that doesn't look anything like that. Doesn't look anything like these players.
They don't put the proper faces on AI.
No. Where's Colin Bell?
No, and also that's not. Yeah, listen, don't get that detailed about it. The point I'm making is, I know, but this guy has been so bold as to put his tier list of greatest ever City players without knowing what half of them even look like. Yeah. If you can pull the Paul Lake up one, mate, it's a beauty. Just pull it. Look at that, Paul Lake with a ginger disco.
You know what Paul Lake could fucking look like that. He fucking love it.
That's a bit more like Keegan's hair.
That is Kevin Keegan's hair, but ginger. Yeah. And I mean, the guy who's put this out there as his tier list, he's really thought about who he thinks the best City players are, and he really understands all the eras to put these people in, and that's what he thinks Paul Lake looks at. Fucking do me a favour.
And like I said, Trevor, that's someone showing their age.
Ginger Disco Perm Paul Lake was my best ever Paul Lake era.
What's Disco? I need to look at this.
Oh no, go back, mate. We can look at the others. I just wanted to get the Paul Lake one out there because it's
Brian
beautiful.
Silva, Gundogan, Alan Oakes, Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho, De Jong, Mike Doyle. Dickoff's not fucking midfielder. When did Paul Dickoff become a midfielder?
This is hilarious, isn't it? Oh, De Jong looks like a clone of Fernandinho.
What the fuck is Kevin Orlok looking like? Jesus. Yeah, looks like Billy Bremner.
Yeah, that shows the age of the person who's done it.
And that's how I remember Paul Lake. Look at Ireland. Ireland's got hair. No, big up. Listen, to the guy who's done it, big up to you for having a go. But
Oh, massive.
do a bit of research if you're going to do it, mate.
I just think it's brilliant. This is the content I love.
Oh, we've lost Luke. See, and I'm going to say this because I'm going to do it because while Luke
That's not Steve Redmond. Yeltham. It's not any of them, mate.
Luke came on last week, and I don't care when I say this because Luke came on last week, and Luke got a lot of shit in the comments off a couple of dickheads afterwards. Luke is a young lad finding his way through this world of social media that can be brilliant but can also be awful. Luke is a young lad who is a top salt of the earth fellow to met him, and people just want to be nasty.
Yeah.
Grow up. Seriously. If people overstep the mark on this channel, whether it's me, Trev, Governor, Ed, Rich, or whoever, we will sort it privately in a respectable manner. But what we will not do is tolerate abuse to anybody. We can have a heated debate on the panel all day long, but we're all friends afterwards. I can call Governor a fucking tit and he'll laugh. I can call Trev a bald-headed old fella. I can call Ed a fake city
which would be inaccurate and unfair.
Well, fucking great mask you've got on there, mate. Listen, at the end of the day,
watch this today.
Hey, yo, I got to jump, guys. I got a date coming up here. I got to catch you guys.
Big up, yeah. The thing is, Ed is another one. Ed got abused being called my wingman for 2 months. We're not going to have it anymore. We'll do it in a laugh because people don't realize I've done this for 8 years. This ain't my first rodeo, guys. I've done this across 2 channels for 8 years. This ain't my first rodeo. Right? I'm not a fucking novice in this game, right? I ain't a novice. And when people take the piss and they have a go at Luke when he's a young lad and he's a top fella making his way in this world, we ain't going to have it.
And he's funny.
Luke is always welcome on this channel and always will be. And if you don't like his views, just don't fucking watch. Yes, he has got a shitty beard. We admit he's got a shitty beard. Look at that. What the fuck's happened there, mate? But we can do that because it's called banter. You need to cut out after what you did last night because you're on a fucking 3-week ban after what you did last night, Governor.
I think you need to throw the soul patch up there, Luke. I think you need to get.
So I'm just not.
Stick one on until it grows. It's a bit too much real estate there from the bottom lip. The bottom lip.
No, don't worry, Governor. It's always best when we can't hear you either. It's the best opinions you give out.
The only thing I got wrong, I was rushing and I forgot to change my name. That was the. I think I had you at the beginning, but when you see the name,
anyone said that you're Russian. That's
we want the road dash. We want the road man. We want Mandem road man. Governor coming back with the belly on. Oh, you had the belly on yesterday.
The one thing we won't do on this channel is we ain't going to do clickbait and we ain't going to lie. Listen, we can come in here and say we're getting Benny Jr. and fucking Musiala and Bill down the road and all this shit.
Breaking.
To get cheap. Whatever. We're not going to do that. And what we're going to do is the way we do it. And let everyone else, we all get on. We all have a laugh.
My connection, if you can hear me, my connection's bad.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. We all get on. We all talk with each other. I talk with LB. I talk with Luke. I talk with Patrick. I talk with loads of people. Stephen, a lot. We've got JSGC coming on this channel soon on the Blues Brothers. I've known Jay for years.
Yeah.
So this bullshit what people are trying to do, stop it, grow up, go and get a girlfriend. Or find a hobby. Because trolling on YouTube is way low in the standards. Taking the piss out of my dead father goes even lower. Because if you say that to me in the street, I'll knock you clean out.
And they're still at it in the comments. This is a coordinated.
And that's the trouble, Martin. They won't say it to your face.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
But
is a
the-
They're in the
Trust me.
bedroom.
Trust me, there's a coordinated slating of me going on.
Yeah,
now.
this
There's just
is
too many.
coordinated attack tonight.
Yeah,
you know.
this is from someone I've pissed off. Tell him to fuck off.
This is coordinated
Yeah.
tonight.
See, by the
We
way,
see
I had
who
no
you
idea-
are. We know what you're doing. Fucking do one.
by the
Yes,
way,
I'm
right,
going Community Shield.
I'm going as well. I'm going as well. But just quickly, right? I've had no idea about the comments. Someone might have messaged me just now about it. I've had no idea.
And I'm not doing that to embarrass you, mate. I'm doing it because I'm not.
No, mate. All I'm saying is, right, I don't know who's spreading stuff around, but we're not in school anymore. What are we doing? Like, seriously, it's football, lads. What are we doing here? If you got no life, spread stuff around Twitter or on Spaces about football-related opinions, and you haven't got a life, frankly.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's never that deep.
Yep.
I'm so
Hang
sorry,
on.
man.
And I
but-
know it's going on because behind the scenes, they're all putting in comments now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people want to do what we're doing, but they never get off their ass and do it. They never put their own opinions out there first to be shot at. That's why they're cowards. You're cowards. And do you think I spend 1 second after the show thinking about things that you've said? Because I don't. Got to go and feed me dogs. They're moaning because I'm late to feed them. Then I'm going to play one of my guitars for an hour, like I do most mornings.
Can I just say, by the way, Ethan and the rest, top jobs mods tonight because
Yeah,
you got to
nice.
work your ass off.
As always.
And that's why
Thank you, mods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just guys, you're sat in LA where I'm in L42.
Mhm.
Is it L42 or L41? I told you, Luke.
L42, mate. I'm there as well.
L42. Yeah.
L42.
I'm on row 10, seat 1 and 2.
Oh, look at you.
Someone asked if I got any new guitars. I only have two because I can only play one at a time. One's an acoustic and one's an electric. And they're my dream guitars. They're my dream guitars. I don't collect them. because I'm not
Buhari news. Yeah, Buhari news. That'll happen. That'll happen. Buhari will happen. Who's our free kick taker? Don't know. The thing is, Elliot Anderson signed today and then pissed off on holiday for 3 weeks.
Well,
Did you
who
not?
is it?
Yeah.
Who could it be? Is it Phil? Do you reckon it's Phil?
I think it's going to be Cherky or Phil.
Phil or Cherky? Yeah, I think that's a decent answer. Phil, that's what sprung to mind, but other people might have another
Cherky
idea.
or
That
Phil.
would let us know.
But it just made me laugh today when they were interviewing Elliot Anderson. He went, "You're going to go on holiday now?" He said, "Yeah, I've got 3 weeks off." It's not fucking back till middle of August. Dickhead.
You love
Jesus.
This is what I mean. None of these are going on this Asian tour that everyone's going on about. So we'll do
That's
what's
right.
on, but it is going to be the kids and the academy that roll out and the ones who went out in the first round.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Said that.
Echeverry and all that. It's not going to
Yeah,
be anyone.
that's normal.
So don't expect Haaland and Anderson and all that because someone on Twitter or on a show will go, "Where's Anderson? He's on holiday."
Oh, cut, mate.
I said that it'd be all the Moneys, you know. All the Moneys will be playing.
Well, look,
So yeah,
And then they'll send him off again.
Pat is going to Tokyo, wherever he's going. He's on his way there for the next couple of days. So we're going to get some footage from the pre-season tour. And then next season, I don't know whether we're in America or not, 2027, we'll find out. But I will be in America in 2027. So I hope so, yeah. Never know.
The other thing about this pre-season tour is, look, the last pre-season tour I went to in person, Joey Barton stuffed a cigar out in an Everton fan's eye in a hotel. I was there.
He also did it to a Young City Academy graduate.
Right. Well, he got into fisticuffs in Bangkok. That's all I'm saying.
Why am I not shocked?
Yeah, exactly.
Call me
Now,
shocked.
he's the kind of shithouse that we didn't love when he was our shithouse.
Right, just to let the mods know, mods as well, you do have, some don't realise this, you have power in the comments as well underneath the shows. So when you look at the shows and there's comments underneath, you can block and get rid of things. Don't get rid of feedback, but if people are coming in, sat this, do this is shit, we're just get rid of them. because that
And
tonight,
the guys when they're joking, like Steve and Kathy, and that
tonight was a coordinated
they
attack.
can be as abusive as they like because they don't mean it, or they're being
Everyone's
funny. Or
going
they
about
might,
this Odyssey film. I've not watched it yet. No.
It's very
it's
good, by the
brilliant.
way. You should watch
It's
it.
absolutely
Very good film.
brilliant. Go and watch it.
Very good movie.
Big up, Blue Art. You're a legend, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, right,
I'll
we're
have
going
to
to leave
go.
it there. I know, Luke, you're short and sweet, but your internet shit.
Always.
So,
Yeah.
If you want a
Yeah.
proper look at those AI images, it's on my account somewhere on at Kipax Kids.
Anyway,
you can
right.
zoom in on all the players and frighten the kids.
Guys, I don't know when we'll be back now. We might be back over the weekend, or we'll do a video on Monday. It might be tomorrow. We might do a transfer ramble with Alan's not on the channel, Martin Fraud, so get your facts straight.
Bro, mate, these people are weird, man. They're so weird.
Alan's not even on the channel, so it's an easy answer. That.
No, honestly, it's weird. It's weird, man. Get a life.
There's an agenda.
Sorry, Mark.
He's already been banned. He's just set a new thing up. This is what I mean, coordinated. Anyway, we will do something tomorrow with Tone, whether it's Ramble. If not, it'll be but we will get Rambles. There'll be a lunch in the city next week. There won't be a Blues Down Under because Patty's obviously away. So we'll try and get a governor and that onto other shows in between. Thursday night chat, whatever. But yeah, I think people are just going to be idiots at the moment. Ignore them. They'll get bored. We'll see where we go. But smash the like, hit the subscribe. We've actually gone up in subscribers, so big up to you all. Thank you, Trev, Governor, Luke, and Rich, and Ed for their time this evening. Thank you all. Take care. And as always, up the Blues. Take care.
Go on, boys. Take care.
Guys.